I seriously believe the crypto market is about to hit the craziest period we've ever seen for it. And so I've spent the past couple of hours just buying more coins. I bought some more XLM, I bought some more XRP, Ethereum, you name it. And the main reason being that I think I'd regret it if I didn't go a bit crazier in these times. A matter of fact, just looking at my positions right now, I think it is worth it to stack up even a little bit more XLM right now, even though you can see we're pretty far in the profit on our position, right? We have 10K in and we're up $17,000 on it. But regardless of that, even though we're buying at a significantly higher price right now, we're buying like 20% or more higher, I still think it's worth to just add more coins to my stash. I mean, this XLM bot right now is running about 126,000 XLM long, but yeah, I still think it's worth adding a few $1,000s to it. So I want to add another $5,000 to this bot. Again, I told y'all I put $200,000 again in my account today to just add to more different things, just keep stacking it up. And here you can see now, we add a little bit, the numbers, the percentages look a bit less, sure, but I don't mind, as again, it's about the amount of profit we are able to make over time. Right now, we're running about 175,000 XLM long. That's what I like to see. I bought a new 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗃 coin margin bot like an hour ago right here, as you can see. It's up, actually, not really anything at all, like $28 on the $2,000 I put in. But again, the idea is to keep stacking them. And I probably bought some more different things today, but nothing really spectacular that's worthy of a discussion. I also think it's worth adding a little bit more XRP here. So we'll also add another, let's quickly add another $3,000 to this one. I already added another 2,000, so we added 5,000 times 5, about hopefully like $25,000 worth of a bot here. You know, we added another 5,000 to the XLM bot. Just made some new bots as well, one for Bonk, one for Render, one for Ondo. These were all requested. I asked in the comment section before, like, hey, put down whichever bots you'd like a template for. A couple of coins were mentioned, and I decided to always open new ones whenever they're asked for with varying leverages as well. For example, Bonk and Render at 3x, whereas Ondo I think deserves a little 5x because it's a bit easier of a play. All open within the last like half hour here. And you know, sometimes you're up a little bit, sometimes you're down a little bit in the next few minutes, but yeah. One additional coin I added some money to just now is IOTA. I think I added another $5,000 or so. So again, times 5, so $25,000 into this bot. The main reason being that I actually sold some IOTA I had somewhere else. And I told you before, all I care about is how much long I am in terms of coins. If I have spare coins laying around relative to the bottom of the price range, right? I have to think, of course, about where we are. But relatively, I don't think it's that stupid to just sell more coins off and buy more back in bots to eventually get my account to the crazy size I want it to get to. Because really, when I start breaking this down, I think Hyperliquid, even though it's already at a pretty crazy high valuation, I still think it do many, many multiples of where it is at right now, purely because of the amount that they're buying back every single day. So I've got a lot of money stashed over in HYPE, right? And I can do the same for almost any coin. XRP, I think right here, has found its base. The $2-3 range is basically the 50 to 60 cent, or let's call it 40 to 55 cent range we saw at the end of 2024, from which it did a crazy multiple. I still see XRP trading above $10 within a few weeks. Fun fact, because the moment the price sparks, and I think that's actually going to happen once Ethereum breaks out, everything is going to go crazy here, which is why I just keep stacking XRP on every single exchange. I keep stacking it every single day, every single minute. Our $1 million XRP long is finally back in $200,000 worth of profit, but it's still not enough, all right? I need to stack even more, which is obviously why I'm buying a lot more in these bots today. You might think it's stupid, because you'll probably look back at this in a few weeks, and perhaps it's at a big loss, right? But I just keep saying, keep enjoying the show, all right? Just keep stopping back in, keep saying hi. We'll see how we do over time. Added some more to the ETH long here. Now it's 8 ETH we've got stacked in here. In terms of dollar amounts, 35,000 times 5, of course. Officially, not really. I mean, it's only like 2x leverage effectively because we're trading a little bit more in the middle of the range. One coin I have to buy more of is ADA. I don't have it in my account real quick, so I'm just going to add whatever I have in here. But I need to significantly add some ADA here. It's definitely due. Because again, I was trying to say it a little bit earlier in the video. But actually, before I do that, if you want to join any of these strategies, by the way, links are down below. Like the first link is the platform I'm trading all this stuff on. It's all automated. It's basically you set it up once and hopefully you forget about it. On the opposite side, if you want to take more advantage of it, you're going to have to actively manage it. But the buying and selling is still done automatically. Now, why am I using this platform? Well, as you can see, it's pretty freaking good, right? It all makes sense. I mean, one of the bot stacks, this is a group of different bots, got $158,000 in. We're up $130,000. I guess my main bots, 27 of them, we put $100,000 in. We're up 42,000. My coin stack, and this is basically in coin denomination. So this means I put, for example, 2,500 SUI in, I put 8 Ethereum in, I put some Solana in. By the way, it's already trading outside of the range, so I'm going to have to actually adjust this. Why? Well, I didn't expect Solana to do these crazy numbers. I think the base for Solana right now is about $160, and I think the upper limit should probably be more towards like the 280s. So this is a bit sucky for all the people that just copy along and don't follow my updates every single day. But the reason I don't press reinvest here, by the way, you'll see as I quickly press adopt, liquidation price goes up, that is fine. The reason I don't press reinvest is because I want to showcase the profits we make over time right here, right? But I did have to adjust the price range here a little bit because we were already starting to trade outside of it. It's just that sometimes you set up these bots, you set up your strategies, and you have to look back, like I said, because the price all of a sudden does something you didn't expect. But that's also sometimes why I open multiple different bots if the price all of a sudden goes down like crazy to sometimes take more advantage of it. Regardless, if you want more strategy talk, I think we fixed everything when it comes to the Discord. Link is down below for Discord. I've got an FAQ, little frequently asked questions section. I've got a link to all my settings, a link to the trading competition going on right now for the next 4 days or so. We're giving away about $5,000, so check that out. I'm doing a little sheet where I update every single time I open new bots, not when I add money. And then there's now a little discussion section as well, where all you guys can come in and discuss whatever your strategies is or learn from other people, ask questions to one another that are hard to discuss in these videos. But yeah, I've been stacking like a madman today, and that's the fun thing. Some of y'all are saying, Dusty, but the prices are going up. Why are you buying? The funny thing is, these are all volatility bots, meaning if the market goes up or down, that's what we take advantage of, which is why I don't mind adding when prices are high. And also, if I'm adding when prices are high and you're waiting for a lower price, you're getting a better price than me. So what's the complaining about? I mean, you can really just take a look at the full list of all the bots I've got, see which ones have been performing worse. For example, some of them are down 50%, but I always like to say, compare it to the best, right? If you start breaking down the numbers, you can see from the list right here, as long as your winners do really, really well, it doesn't really matter how many of them lose because this is what your account should be looking like right now. Here you might say, Dusty, you put $90,000 in. Why are you not up a ton? Because we actually just opened these and we got a bit unlucky. For example, the XRP bot. We opened this when XRP was at $3.40. Right now it's at $2.97. It's going okay. But for the most part, this has always been trading at a loss. So if you ever open this up after I did, you're in a way better position than I am, right? But the fun fact is, I'm looking at this thinking it's only $40,000, hopefully times 5, but not really. Because you can see it's only about official leverage of about 2x, only 25,000 XRP or so. But I'm thinking, because I have infinite amounts of XRP in reality, right, just in my stash, I can actually really just do some numbers on this, just really start stacking it like a madman. And then the moment it gets back to $3.40 in XRP, we'll be up a lot in XRP. Dollars, I don't care about too much, or trend P&L, I don't care about too much. But the grids, in the past 50 days, been able to cash at like 1,000 XRP. And the fun fact is, this was on 5,000 XRP before. I just added the 7,000 XRP over the past 2 days. Getting back to it, you can see a full list of every single one of them, and you can also see my price that I entered it at versus what the current price is at, right? So for example, if we go to page number 2, you can see, for example, SUI, you're actually getting yourself a significantly better price by entering now than I started with. Or ADA, similarly, right? It's lower right now. AVA, similarly. And some of the ones like here, Doge, are also true, and these ones are at a loss. But funny again, it's only at a 0.7% loss, so basically break even. But the price is significantly lower. Like you can see here, you're getting yourself a 50-cent discount on wherever I bought at. And that's the same for many of these positions. The fun fact is, I think if you look back at this over the next few weeks, all of these will be up a tremendous amount. But even if they're not, I think the good ones that do well will compensate for it. So I don't really mind too much. And if the market does go down, sure, you'll look bad in trend P&L. But over time, that should actually fix itself in the sense that the grid profits are what you really care about most, right? The percentages that it's able to cash out is what we care about most. The trend P&L, theoretically speaking, we just see this as zero, but for many of them, it turns out to be really, really good. But that's not the main goal, right? Here, for example, on our 55K bot, we're up $32,000 on it from the price going up, but I care mostly about what it's been able to cash out over the past 4 months. Let's call it, it's been able to cash out $26,500, 50% of our entire stash. Can you consider that? Just think about that for a second. For just doing nothing. absolutely nothing, just because it trades a few hundred times a day, right? It keeps buying, keeps selling. You can see here, right here. Every single time it buys, you can see it right here. It buys on average about $500 worth, and it sells slightly more, making about 60 cents every single time, but mostly like 10 times an hour, for example, right? So if you scroll through, you keep seeing every single time it bought, every single time it sold, and how many times it can do that throughout the hour. This, it bought at 12 p.m. today. It sold at 2 p.m. Again, only maybe 40-cent profit, maybe 60-cent profit, something like that. Let's quickly see here. It is about, let's say 60 cents profit every single time that it's making, and it just keeps stacking it up. You see the amount of times it trades, right? Average 250 times a day. That is why today I've just been only tasked with buying more coins. Why? Because I have FOMO. I realize the market is in a really good spot. I'm getting myself these coins still for quite cheap. And I know that if I listen to too many people in the comments section, I'd lose my mind. I've always said before, my mantra is minimize regret. Where will I regret things? There's only two ways. One is by going too crazy, where if you get a flush out, if you get a fake out, I'd get wrecked. But with the way I'm doing my coins right now, the way I'm doing my bots, it's quite hard because you can see all the liquidation prices, right? You can see at which point you get wrecked, and I can always add some more margin to it. But as long as you keep this at a manageable price and you're not using way more funds than you can afford to lose, right? You can always manage these and still be fine. But also on the opposite side, I think the way number two, which I could regret things, is by not utilizing capital enough. I look back at every single one of the runs. There are a lot of my friends who flip multiples of their portfolio. For example, go from $24,000 to $5.5 million, or $200,000 to $20 million. How? Most of these because they've got crazy amounts of confidence in the run, and they keep reinvesting, they keep stacking. Sure, there's the downside risk as well, where you stack too hard and you go back to scenario number one. But if it does work out, if you have a proper strategy where, again, the numbers are not too tight, because I don't like to play around too scary of a playing field, right? There's no point in risking too much. There is some potential for just reaching that higher plane. And so that's really what I'm trying to do here. Not play too crazy risky of a game. I'm not using 50x leverage. I'm not going crazy on the board, right? You can see we put a couple $100,000 in it. If we just do the numbers here, I think it's about $400,000 we've got invested in the bots. Because 100, let's say 100, 100, 200, let's say 350, let's say 400, slightly less, but you get it. With an average, leverage of 5, what we did, but an actual leverage more towards the 3 mark. So let's say it's about $1.4 million or so worth of actual, schmeckles we've got running here. It's manageable to me, right? Even more than I'd say double, maybe triple, I could still actually handle, which is why, as I told you before, I put $200K in the account, which again will probably act as about 3 or 4 times as much. So I have to keep that in mind, but that's also the way I want it. I've realized for myself, we can go down a pretty good chunk and I'd still be completely comfortable, but I prefer to also be really, really comfortable if we go up like crazy. Like today, for example, if you do not feel some sort of FOMO, when XRP all of a sudden moves from like $2.70 back to like $3 in a few days, an 11% move in a week, when the market has done nothing throughout the last week, like nothing. If you do not feel FOMO on this move, then we're just built different. I look at this price move, and even though I've got millions of dollars riding on XRP already, I still feel as if I need so much more because soon the opportunity to get in so cheap will be over. I still stand by the idea that Q4 will be the craziest quarter, and it could have happened earlier. It could happen this week, next week, next few weeks. But I still think probably by January, and this timeline is shifting a little bit, but I still stand solid on probably by January, the best times will have been over. I still stand by that. Right? And so if you're not taking advantage of these smaller moves right now, in terms of being a little bit higher on the risk scale, I do believe the good times will at some point be over before you really get comfortable. And what I mean with that is, it could be the run is over already. If you asked me a year ago, I would have said August and January, so August 2025, January 2026 is the end. If you didn't make a crazy amount of profit yet. The 99.9% of the people that didn't make crazy amounts of profit, I don't want to insult people, but they're weaklings. They're not really confident in what they're going for. They don't like risk, and that's also the main reason they will probably never make it big. I mean, you can make good money, don't get me wrong, but to make massive multiples are I would say, reserved for people that have a better risk appetite, that like to go a little bit more towards the edge. Let's say you've got $1,000. I've shown you a position in my video earlier on Bybit that I had open where I turned $1,000 into maybe 60 or so. With XRP and $2,000 into 50,000 with Bitcoin. How? Because we went crazy on the leverage, only 10x, but still, hey, we went crazy on the leverage at a good point and stacked and held through it. Most people can't do that. They look at this price and think, Dusty, I need XRP to go to $17 before I'm happy. If you can't take advantage of these smaller moves, for example, from $2.70 to $2, $3, I'm going to call this, these are the real moneymaker moves. And that's why I also said these bots make things easier because they automatically buy and sell. But theoretically speaking, think back at it. If I had sold my full stash right here, I could have netted $400,000 profit on the position right here for XRP, right? If we took that $400,000 profit plus our 100K margin, went back in at near the bottom, not even the bottom, right? Still 10 cents above it, maybe more, at 277, just for fun, right? Just to consider. We could have 10x leveraged it again. Right now we'd be up 9%. Let's just call it 10% from that bottom, but it would have been up on, let's say, a $5 million trade. We'd be again up $500,000. Now, all of a sudden, in just this little bit of time, even though the price is not up that much from the bottom, right? It's only 10%. We would have all of a sudden gone from $100,000 to 1 million, 1.1 million, something along those lines. So you see how fast it can go? Because again, now, if we were to double it again, we're like, you know what? Let's commit. Now, all of a sudden, we've got that $1 million. We again go with leverage. Sure, it's risky. If the market goes down a lot, we're screwed. But that's, again, what a lot of people like to do, or maybe slightly less. For example, we go in with $750,000 right now. So we have a little bit more leeway potentially to reach like $2.49, for example, right? We go in with maybe a $7.5 million trade. If now the market comes back to $3, okay, we're at $3, right? Let's say $3.22. We're up again, maybe about 10%. Now on that $7.5 million, we made another $750,000, right? That's how people like to stack. That's where I keep saying, sure, it helps the more money you've got, but I don't care about the amount of money you make. It's the percentage that counts to me. And it's the fact that you can go from 100% to 1,000% because of leverage, which again, I'm not saying you should use. You can do this all without it. I'm saying that sometimes make the process a bit quicker. It expedites the process because again, essentially these bots are all at like 2x, 3x, 5x, something along those lines. It's not heavy leverage that I'm using. It's not the point. The point is to make more use of the capital you've got and to realize that this won't last forever and we need to take more advantage of smaller percentage opportunities besides, of course, the bigger altcoin season run. And the main reason I'm saying that is because if by some miracle the market does not actually go for the craziest of craziest runs, I do want everybody to be satisfied. Not satisfied forever, but for this cycle, for just their own mind. I would not be happy if the market turns down now, but I do keep it in my mind as a possibility. So what am I doing to prepare for that? I'm setting myself up for failures, for whatever happens. I make sure I have some sort of strategy in case it does happen. Well, again, 99% of my funds, 99% of my faith goes on the fact that the market is not over. And we'll actually see an XRP at above $10, an XLM probably do like a 15x from these current prices, HBAR doing massive numbers, SUI doing massive numbers. And that's how I'm stacking, that's how I'm buying these coins, right? And realize, guys, that if the market does go down like 50%, I'll also probably be down at least $1 million on this account. But I don't mind. Set myself up for success here. I've got confidence that on the fact that this is going to go for a crazy run, and I'm willing to risk it a bit more than I usually would because we're getting closer and closer towards the end of the season. And I basically start calling this a make it or break it type of thing, where either I go a bit crazier on the risk scale to hopefully catch that pump or just give up at this point and realize that the run might be over. But I'm more inching towards the fact that since everybody's saying it's over, but Ethereum hasn't even really topped out, we really didn't see anything just quite yet. The run is only starting. But it makes it more difficult, the fact that macro is in such a crazy spot. We've seen such a massive rally for the S&P. We've seen such a massive rally for gold. And I think gold does set the precedent for BTC. Bitcoin should follow along with gold, a little bit lagged, but still. However, there's so many theories against it, which bring me back to point number one, which is all I do is just buy, shut up, buy and shut up. And thus far, it's always worked out. As long as your numbers are not too close, you're not playing too high on the risk scale, you should be fine, even over a longer period of time. And the way I've set myself up, theoretically speaking, the goal is to get these in such amounts of profit that they can never get wrecked again, which already for XRP is in a good spot. Right now, you can see it will only get wrecked if XRP goes back to 148. I want this to be, below $1. I don't think XRP will ever trade below $1.70 again already. So I think we're completely fine forever. And again, think about it. We are getting ourselves a huge amount of extra XRP theoretically by using just a little bit of leverage. We only put $55,000 in, but it already bought itself about a 50,000 XRP position. So let's just call this about $150,000 worth, so about 3x. Crazy powerful, right? Because if this can never get wrecked again, just like with my positions over on Bybit that right now are way above my buying price. the Bitcoin position, I bought 0.5 Bitcoin for only $2,000. How? Because we bought with 10x leverage when the price was 30K, something like that. So that was a pretty good deal. And that's kind of what I'm stacking here as well. We practically bought ourselves $150,000 worth of XRP, 50,000 XRP. Again, at basically a price of $1 each by the logic right here. And if we cannot get wrecked, you know, of course we're paying some funding, but because of the great profits is cashing out every single day, I mean, this heavily outweighs the little amount of fee that I've paid. Let's just say that over the past 3 or 4 months, let's say 4 and a bit months, I've paid maybe $3,000 to keep this open, and it's maybe $26,500. Like, I mean, you can do the math on that. I don't really mind paying a little bit of fee to keep a position open when the profit is so much greater. Yeah, that's about it for my thoughts here. Most coins I think will still 10x, but we need to take advantage of the small opportunities so that the 10x actually nets us 10 times more. You get it? Like I said before, if I had taken advantage of the smaller chances, cashed out like the 400K, for example, and went back in, took advantage of those moves, we could have actually probably 10x'd our entire freaking balance off of just one sell and one buyback. And you need to take advantage, I think, or maybe realize that there is a lot of advantage to be taken, especially if you're not using any of these bots at all. You're just doing everything on spot. Realize that you never know how far it can run for. Sometimes it's wise to keep the cash flow going, keep cashing out some, which is why I cashed out 10% of the position and cashed out 40K. In hindsight, could it have been more? Sure. But I don't really mind either because I realize it's going to be at least $1 million plus anyway. And since I'm comfortable with that, it's all fine. All I got to do is just wait. But even here, I'm thinking, why did I even open a $20,000 position when I told myself I need to go big or go home? And now I'm looking at it, seeing it at $800 worth of profit, which is nice. I'm still humble enough to appreciate that. But on the opposite side, I'm thinking I should have just opened 1 million XRP long, $1, not 1 million XRP dollar, $1 million XRP long. There we go. And my $3 million ETH long, like I planned to, instead of opening these peanuts. But like I said, I wanted to basically open ETH at about 3,900, which we did not get to. And for XRP, I wanted to slowly but surely build it as well. But again, we did not get to as the price is already back up. But it's okay. All right, it's okay. I'm still satisfied. I'm still happy. And we'll be stacking this like crazy. So it's all, oh, barely did not hit our buys. That would have been nice if we were able to buy right there. Regardless, stacking. So what I'm doing all day, and I'll update the sheets in a little bit here. As I told you guys, I have all these sheets with all this information. I need to keep up to date. It's a lot of freaking work, but I hope it's going to be worth it in the end. And only a few more days to go. Join our competition. Link is down below. Completely free. You can win yourself $5,000. Check it out. Links down below. That's about it for this little crypto update. If you want to join any of these things, links are all down below as well. And make sure you check out Discord if you've got any questions.